Everybody wants to know how to study MBBS abroad. Hello, I'm Jaden Gomindish from Travco Education, and we've helped over 100 students get admission in some of the top medical colleges abroad and in India. And in today's video, we are going to cover how to get your admission done from the start till the day you are in your medical college within 5 steps. So step number 1, and most importantly, is college selection. How to select the right college for you? Well, there are a few points you need to look into before knowing which college is right for you. Well, number 1 in terms of selecting a good college is the college ranking. It's very important to know if the college you select is good enough in order to give you a good level of education. Number 2 is infrastructure. Does the college have good infrastructure and a good medical facility in order not just to give you theoretical education, but more importantly, a hands-on practical knowledge in order to make you a good doctor. Number 3, recognition. Well, tomorrow, if you want to go to the US or UK, you need to make sure these countries recognize the college and most importantly, the country where you've done your medical education for. Number 4 is post-study pathways. Does the college itself offer good post-study pathways? Does it make you competent enough to answer these entrance exams after your medical education? These are very important questions you need to ask yourselves before selecting a college to study MBBS abroad. Well, if you have any difficulties in terms of college selection, you can get in touch with me and I will help you find a college that suits your needs and most importantly fits your family budget so you could comfortably complete all your 6 years of medical education. Coming to step number 2, your admission process. Well, once you have decided which college you want to get into, you have to start your admission process. And for that, in terms of Georgia as a country, the requirements remain same for 90% of the universities across the country, which are only 2 things. Number 1, and most importantly, you need to have 50% in your physics, chemistry and biology in your 12th standard. And secondly, you need to be NEET qualified. You don't need to rank or get a merit in your NEET, but you need to be a minimum of NEET qualified in order to get admission in some of the top colleges when talking about Georgia. Once you fulfill these 2 criteria, you then can go ahead with the admission process to the university of your choice. To block your seat at the college of your choice and start the admission process, you need 5 important documents. Number 1, your 10th standard mark sheet. Number 2, your 12th standard mark sheet. Number 3, your 12th leaving certificate. Number 4, a valid passport. And number 5, your NEET scorecard, and if you don't have a scorecard, your NEET admit card. Once these 5 documents have been submitted, within 2 to 3 days, the university will schedule an English written test and an English interview to check your capability of speaking the English language. Once you have successfully completed your interview and written tests and the university has verified all your documents, now comes to the payment of fees and receiving of your admission letter. Well, coming to the fees, that depends on the college you choose. But no matter which college you choose within Georgia, they allow you to pay fees per semester, where your yearly fees don't have to be paid at once, wherein you can break it down into 2 installments or you can break it down per semester and pay your university fees. So after the first semester fees have been paid, within 5 to 7 days, you will receive your admission letter. Moving on to step number 3, which is the documentation process. Your documentation process consists of getting a total of 5 documents. Number 1, your EQE, which is an Education Quality Enhancement Check. Number 2, Rector's Decree. Number 3, which is a Ministry Decree. And number 4 is an Invitation Letter. And number 5 is an accommodation letter, which you will have to get from the accommodation or hostel that you have chosen to stay in. And bear in mind, these documents are not something that you have to worry about. This whole process is completely taken care of by our team. But coming back to the main point of this video is to keep you informed what is our work and how we as consultants take care of your complete admission process. So you may ask, why do you need so many documents? Well, these are not just documents for you, but more importantly, these documents are required to apply for visa and successfully get a student D3 visa from the Georgian embassy. How long does the documentation process take? The documentation process takes anywhere from 20 to 30 days in order to get complete. And moving on to step number 4, the visa process. And let me tell you, up until today, we've had a 100% success rate when applying for student visas and more importantly, Georgian student D3 visas. So be rest assured you're in good hands when you're applying through us. To go ahead with the visa process, we need all the documents mentioned up until now, including a few additional documents. Number 1, we need documents stating that your parents are going to support you financially throughout the 6 years. Number 2, we need bank statements of the past 6 months from the parent that is going to financially support your education again throughout the 6 years. Now with all the documents before and these 2 additional documents, we will then package it nicely and submit your visa application. And then what happens? We patiently wait. 35 to 45 days is what it takes for any student to get their visa. And to be very honest, that is something that is neither in your hands nor ours. It is in the hands of the embassy. So as soon as the embassy can release your visa, that's how quickly you can then pack your bags and travel to Georgia. Moving on to step number 5, the last step, and that is to fly to Georgia. So once your visa arrives, you're all set to fly to Georgia, and you need to make that transition of flight within 15 days of receiving your visa to then go ahead to Georgia and complete your further legalities that again we at Travco will help you with. Once you reach to Georgia, there are 2 important things that we will have to do. Stay tuned till the end to know what they are. So once you receive your visa, you now have to book your flight tickets. Now that either can be done yourself, or if you want to fly in a group of students, you can do it through us. Few things to look into while booking flight tickets is the baggage allowance. Making sure you got adequate baggage allowance is very important, as you are going to be in another country for a minimum of 6 months to a year at least until you fly back again to take some more luggage. So make sure to book the flight with adequate luggage, and more importantly, stick to that luggage when flying or going to the airport. A lot of times we see students exceeding the weight by 1 or 2 kilos, thinking that the airport security would allow them, but they then have to pay double the cost per kilo at the airport. So make sure firstly to book the flight ticket with adequate baggage allowance, and then sticking to that weight while packing your bags. So now the cost for flights varies. If you book it yourself, you will have a higher rate. However, if you book it with a group of students, you will usually end up getting a group fare, and more importantly, a higher baggage allowance, since we book all our students on a student fare. So make sure to check well before doing this last step. Now once this is done, you're now all set to fly to Georgia. Important note, before flying, make sure to have all the documents on the screen with you at all times, before flying, during and after reaching Georgia. These are very important, and you will need them for the further processes in Georgia. So we at Travco don't just help you before going, but also during and after you are in Georgia. So before I finish, 2 additional points to keep in mind as soon as you land in Georgia are: number 1, you will have to get your TRC card, which is a temporary residence card made as soon as you land, for which you will require the documents I had mentioned in the previous section of the video. And number 2 is opening your local bank account in Georgia, through which your parents can send you money from India, and also most importantly, you can avail student benefits right from shopping to transport and travel within Georgia. So once you're done with all the steps that I have just mentioned, you are now officially ready to start your medical education in Georgia. And if you watching have any questions regarding the entire admission or college selection process, make sure to put your questions in the comment section down below, or call on the number to receive a free personalized consultation from myself. All the best, and I'll see you as a doctor.